Hello everybody, it's Dr. Zaino with 15-Minute Fuel, where it's in 15 minutes a day, we're going to fuel your mind, your body, and your future. And just for the announcements, once again, thank you so much for pouring your heart out and sharing so much like you did this weekend. I had a very emotional weekend. You saw yesterday, if you haven't seen the one that I did with Justice yesterday, I was bawling, okay? And the reason why I was bawling, and of course I'm proud of my son, it's just that you have to understand, none of these are the questions are not prearranged or anything like that. In fact, that was the first time I actually sat down with my son Justice, who's 10, and literally asked him mindset questions. I kind of felt bad thinking about like, oh my God, I never did that here on the Mindset Guy, but it was the first time I talked to Justice live with you guys, and his answers blew me away. In fact, his answers were so pure, they were so innate. It's like, because what got me emotional was no one taught him that stuff. It was self-awareness. And I think we all, and we spend we have that when we're young, when we're kids, we have that here inside. And then we spend the rest of our lives after society literally squeezes us down to become our secret identity, to take the cape off. And we spend the rest of our lives searching for what that kid has. So I was deeply inspired. Please watch that. Also send that to you and watch your kids watch that. I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it. So thank you so much for being on. Please hit the like button. Go on, say hello, so I know you're here. Hit the share. Share is the biggest form of love and appreciation. I always ask you, if you like it, if you found value, share it. This is how we spread the message. Also, if you can't be a friend of mine because we're so, I hit the 5,000, make sure you hit follow. So when you hit the follow button, you know that every time we have the 15-minute fuels, you'll be on that, you'll be able to receive that, and you will not miss anything. And again, in about a week or two, we're going to be moving this to the Dr. Zaino fan page. So make sure you click and like and subscribe or whatever you do to the Dr. Zaino fan page so you'll never miss a 15-minute fuel. And this is your first time with 15-minute fuel. I do this for you every single day, 365. That's my commitment to you, to give you the best content ever. So let's go into the question. Give me the thumbs up and let's get started. I have a question, and it said this. Here's the question. Dr. Zaino, what are some of your biggest failures? Since we learn more from our mistakes, what are your biggest ones that changed you that I could potentially learn from? Great question. And here's my answer. It's going to be a little bit different than you may imagine. Now, what I ask you is to change your question to don't ask me what my biggest failures were or my biggest mistakes. Ask me what my biggest wins were. Because what happens if we're always searching, I know it, I used to be the same way. I always wanted to know what people's biggest failures were. What were your mistakes? But I was literally asking in lack, meaning that I was living a life of lack because I was so concerned of what to avoid or what not to do that I was overlooking what I should do. So this is why don't you ask me what were my wins? What were the wins? Because I want you to focus on the wins and what I did right. I'd love to tell you those things, but don't focus on lack. Because for me personally, when you asked that question, I told Whitney, my perception has changed so much through life that I couldn't really think of a failure. Now, did I have trouble times? Absolutely. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely. But hindsight, those things totally changed my life for the good. Now, also right here, you see, I don't see anything as failure because I never quit. See, a failure means that you stopped and you laid down, you quit. So you can't fail at anything. But now, did I run into a wall? Yes. And then I had a course correct? Yes. But that course correction was God kind of steering me to the proper direction I needed to go to. So the only way you fail is by you just quit and you stop. That's how you fail. I also wrote here for you, now if you failed at something, or if you feel that you failed at something, the only reason is because you quit and you have to take full responsibility of it, meaning this. So, and I think it's okay. Let's say I'm trying something and I don't want to do it anymore and I stop or I quit and it fails, it's because I chose to. So remember, if you fail in an area of your life, it's because you have to take 100% responsibility. Say, because you stopped pursuing, you stopped driving, you stopped 10xing it, and you say, you know what, this isn't for me, and you walked away from it. You quit. So when it comes to failing, understand, take the 100% responsibility. And once you take 100% responsibility, then you could be okay with it. But don't complain about it. It's all about 100% responsibility. Now, as long as you learn something about yourself through that journey, then I think it's great. So what do you mean? So how do you explain a marriage? Well, in a marriage ends like this. that means someone in that marriage at some time quit and said, I'm giving up, no more. Like, it had to happen that way. Because if two people said, we're going to do whatever it takes, we're going to stay till the end, we're going to work it out, we'll become resourceful, you would always get through the tough times. So I don't look at failures, I look at as I made errors in judgment, I hit walls, and I course correct. But man, I was always going to go for the goal, and I'm going to stick to it. But the things in my life that I gave up on and took 100% responsibility and I quit on, yeah, of course those items failed because I gave up on it. So make sure you do that. Now, I want you to see this when I talk about I didn't understand the failures in my life, because when you have a failure, a tough time, you're looking micro, meaning that in the moment, that tough time you're going through seems like you're failing. But when you zoom out to the macro, it could possibly be the turning point that took you to a level that you never ever would have realized. For instance, I was trying to think, I was talking to Tim over here, I was like, man, what is a mistake, a really bad mistake I made? And I remembered, sorry, I'm jumping around, getting excited here. So one of the mistakes my wife and I made, we gave someone who day traded $250,000, our house we sold before here, the $250,000, he says, I'm killing it on the stocks. And we gave him, because my buddy did it, we gave him the money. And he fell asleep one day because he had a massive headache and he lost it all. So I was like, holy cow, he lost it all. But watch what happened. That was a mistake. What did I learn? I learned this. Never invest in something other than my sole purpose. Never invest in something that that's out of my control. So I invest back into my patients, back into my practice, back into my health, back into my family, back into you guys. So that investment I could control. I'm working for that investment, and it yields amazing returns, not just financially, but impact. So that was something I learned from that. I never would have learned without that huge mistake. Then the second most amazing thing that came out of it. Now watch this. So in the moment, imagine losing $250,000 in a day because someone was careless. But it was my fault. I'm the one who gave it to him. But in that moment, I was sick. I was nauseous on the inside. I didn't have that to lose. Because number one, I realized I was trying to get rich quick. Boom. First mistake. Take patience. So I learned that lesson. And second, when I was sitting in my kitchen going, where am I going to get this back? How am I going to earn it back? I switched to this phrase. How now can I deliver value to somebody else? So instead of saying, where am I going to find this lost money that someone, took it and lost, I said, okay, how am I going to add value to more people? So when I started, my brain switched to how can I add more value? How can I give more to more people to help them get what they want and their dreams and help them? Number one, I would feel better. I wouldn't feel depressed when I'm helping somebody else. But then all of a sudden, my Zaino experiences came out of that. And that became huge. Chiro Thought Leaders, an online amazing program, the best out there, because it's me helping chiropractors over 36 countries now were helped because of that. Then I met certain people in my life that helped me. Now I sought out thought leaders in the area of finances so I wouldn't make ridiculous decisions like that anymore. So you see, looking back, I'm grateful for this person. This person in my life, I learned such a tuition for. If that incident didn't happen, so many amazing things would have never been found or done or created. There's people in my life that I never would have met in the journey to be able to just become better in the areas that I felt weak at. So you see, it was never a failure. It might have been a mistake. It was a mistake in judgment. I get it. But with the right perspective, see, it's not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. So I love your question. And as a student, I think you're probably a student and you want to learn from me because you want my ceiling to be your floor. I got it. And so because you want my ceiling to be your floor, you want to know the mistakes and the failures I made so you could start at my ceiling and go to the top. And I know you could do it. Just ask me, what am I doing to win? And I'll teach you how I win, because my wins have been developed from all the bumps in the road along the way to develop the system of winning, what I do in my life. So learn how I win. Focus on the win. Don't focus on the lack. And I'm telling you, you're going to have a life full of abundance and not scarcity. So if you're liking this right now, I love the hearts. Give the thumbs up. We appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to answer some questions if you don't mind. Of course you don't mind. I'm controlling this thing. So let me see. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hey, babe. My wife's always on. A few patients coming up. Be well. Thank you for transparent. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey, Aaron. Congratulations on your baby. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Dean Peters. So Dean Peters was doing hey, Dean, I saw your workout this morning. Yeah, I'm up that early. You bet. Hey, Sean. My Ed McMahon. Sean's there. Kat, always. Brian Hooten. Hello, sir. All right, I appreciate you guys. So ask any questions right here. You know, I always comment. I will always comment, even if you're watching this, you know, when it's not live. So please ask any questions. This is the time to do it. Make sure you hit the share. Let me hit some shares. Hey, Rob. Linda, thanks for being here. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing. Linda Paxton, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you so much. Linda, you are the joy of the office. You really are. Linda Paxton is an amazing individual who, this is a wonderful woman that when I said how you react to your situation, Linda is a person who reacts the positive right way, despite what might be going on. So Linda, you're always an amazing example for that. So thank you, guys. And you know what I'm going to do right now? Just keep on asking your questions. I'm going to go into a second question. And the question is, Dr. Z, you know, I would like to know, maybe you could list the 5 books you would recommend to help growth. Now, the 5 books to recommend health growth, instead of me telling you the books, instead of me telling you the books to get, I'm going to tell you the process on how to know that you're reading the right books. And I think this will benefit every single person the way I lay it out for you. The first thing you do is start watching some podcasts like Tim Ferriss or, you know, all the podcasts out there, the really good Lewis Howes, stuff like that. Start watching podcasts because they interview different people. And then when they interview different people, see if you relate with that person, if you like what they have to say. And you're like, yeah, I like that person. I like what they have to say. Then what you do, you go on YouTube and you look at a couple of their keynotes or the other couple of their videos. And if you find yourself really gelling and becoming attracted to that person and what they're saying, then go on Amazon, buy all their books, get all their audios, and then you become a student of that person. Right? So I could say that for Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone. So that was kind of this past year. I heard it, I loved it, I liked it. I went on Amazon, got all the audios, got all the books, and then I became a student. Meaning that for those 6 months, I was a student. I listened to what they had to say. I watched their YouTube videos. I subscribed to their YouTube channels. I followed their Instagram feeds. I followed their Facebook. I became a student. They became my mentors. Don't think you have to go and pay $100,000 for a mentor. They are right there for you. So find the person that you relate to and then become the student. Let them mentor you. And I'm telling you, there's so many things. Watch what they do. See, I know a lot of times you like to hear what people say, but what's more important, watch what I do. Like right now, what am I doing? Instead of being inspired what I'm telling you today, go do it. Like I'm doing Facebook Lives every day, right? So my friend Josh Axe did one every day. So guess what? I'm going to do what Josh Axe does every single day. I told Dr. Dan Pompa, you know, I'm doing a Facebook Live every day. So are you. And he's doing one every other day. So it's the action that's going to get the reward. So find that person, love it. Darren Hardy was one of mine. I loved it. You know, I watched all his things. Jim Rohn, I have a whole playlist of all his stuff. They don't even have to be alive. Most of my thought leaders are long gone. God rest their soul, but I can still learn from them. So instead of me telling you the 5 books, I'm going to ask you to do your own research, find the person you relate to, that you gravitate towards, and then become the student. Listen to their audios, get their books, book report them, and allow their wisdom and knowledge to be applied. Apply it. Don't listen to it, just apply it. And that's how you'll be able to get your, and instead of your 5 books, I'll tell you right now, I would rather you do 1 book 7 times a year and really apply it, and you'll get way more out of it than reading 5 books, once. All right, Aaron, let's see. Fighting with wife over formula of mother's milk or mother's milk vaccine. Okay, the whole thing. Aaron, what I'm going to do, that's going to be, let's do that with Whitney, all right? Knowing the principles, the whole thing. Whitney's great on that. So Aaron, we'll do that Friday. Rob, 25 lives changed this morning out of 60. Great job, Rob Neuenschwander. Let's see, Nick, what are your top 3 value producers in your office? My top 3 value producers are Zaino, Zaino's front desk, and Zaino's back office. So the producers, the top value producers is my team. I'm a producer, it's me, it's Shannon, Christy, Patricia, Carla in the front, It's Dr. Travis and Dr. Joseph in the back. It's like, because that's one thing you can't get in another office. You could go down the road, but you're not going to get me. And I'm confident to say that you're not going to get Chris Zaino. You're not going to get what I bring to the table. See, I'm just not a chiropractor, but I'm bringing my entire value is not being a chiropractor. It's my whole entire life I bring into the office, because I bring everything into that office. So that's my 3 values. So if you want to know the actual systems, the dynamic dinner, and the dynamic dinner. We do dinners 3 to 4 times a month because I love evangelizing the truth of what health is. I do it the best. And the reason why I'm confident that I do it the best, because when I'm doing what I was called to do the best, then people get well and I help people. So me being confident and having a little bit of pride and ego in doing and taking pride in doing the best job I can to speak the message of health, I know the better I do and the better I am, the better it is for humanity. Thus the definition of the hero, right? To be admired for accomplishment, achievement in a very noble manner. That is what it is. So that is, for me, my favorite thing to do. Video is my media, speaking is my media and my platform. Well, guys, if you enjoyed it, thank you so much. I think I'm going to close it out. I want to be respectful for my time and my family and for you guys. And, I love that, you guys getting on. Please love it, like it, share it. I want to make sure I get everything. Eric, sailing on that same boat, Aaron. I feel your pain. Okay, so Eric, you're there. And Aaron, I want you guys to connect. So PM each other, and I want you to start connecting and really help each other out on that subject. We appreciate you guys. Love you so much. You're going to see me tomorrow, roughly around the same time. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. Make sure you go to the Dr. Zaino page. Make sure you follow. And we'll see you tomorrow with 15-Minute Fuel.